Update. Am I the a-hole for asking my sister to contribute half the expenses of maintaining my mom's house? Original post. My mother only has one asset, her house. She doesn't have enough savings to bankroll her retirement, so my wife and I pay for it. My wife is a doctor, so she makes great money, and we can afford taking care of her. We have been sending her about $2,000 a month for 5 years now. We also take care of any incidental/emergency expenses. We have also all major house repairs, and I have never asked for my sister to contribute as she's not as well off as we are. My mom wanted to get her finances in order and she asked me to help. She talked about wanting to get her will written. She said she wanted to give the house to my sister. She has no other asset of note, and it would mean that my sister gets almost 90% of her assets. I've always known that mom would skew the inheritance more towards her, and I didn't mind that. I thought I could help my sister by helping her. My sister needs it more, and we are already doing so well. But I am really upset by this. I know it is greedy to be focused on the house, but it makes me feel horrible. I am the one who is always with her when she is sick, and she practically cuts me off the will? My sister isn't struggling herself. She's comfortably middle class. If she was really struggling, I would have understood it. This was about a month ago. The house needs some repairs again, and my mom asked me to pay for it. I called my sister and told her that I want her to contribute for half the expenses. I know it is petty, but I don't get why I should pay for a house which I never get. She talked to my mom. She is upset with me for asking my sister for money, and she thinks it is very petty and greedy of me to ask for money from someone who doesn't make as much as we do when we could afford it. I do feel like an a-hole. I can understand why she's doing it, and if I think about it rationally, I can see why she would want to give the house to my sister, but I still feel horrible about it. She also feels that I'm being a horrible sibling by forcing her to pay for stuff and just dropping it on her head. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Let your sister repair the house she's going to get. You've paid enough already. She can take over. I'd even go as far to issue an ultimatum. The house is split evenly, or you stop your allowance since you get no gratitude for your family's sacrifice. All of these people are looking at the gift horse in the mouth. You and your wife have given $120,000 over the past 5 years. Your sister should be the one paying everything for the maintenance of the property she's going to get. You've been very generous taking care of your mother and helping her keep her house. But maybe it's time for your mother to sell her house and downsize to something she can afford, or afford with less financial support from you. Since it sounds unlikely you will get any sort of inheritance, you also should be saving for you and your spouse's retirement to make sure you both are comfortable later in life. Not stay home. And not using your wife as an ATM to fund your ungrateful mom. You're the a-hole for that. I have heard, though, that whoever treats an elderly person the best is usually treated the worst. I saw some of this when my oldest sister was helping my great-aunt. Also, life throws curveballs. Who knows where you might financially be in 10 years. This is true. My otherwise lovely grandmother treated my mom far worse than she treated her deadbeat son, aka my uncle. OP not the a-hole and stop paying money. Tell your mother that due to the fact that you've been sending her a monthly allowance and paid for the upkeep of the house, the only fair deal is that you and your sister get an equal share. And if not, then the entire cost of the house and its maintenance is immediately transferred to the sole heir. And now for the update. I was feeling a massive amount of guilt for my actions, but most commenters supported me. I talked to my mother about how much money we have spent on her and how much more we were planning to spend on her. She didn't budge at all. I was incredibly frustrated, and we ended up having a yelling match. She said she wanted her money to go to her real grandchildren, and not to our children who are adopted. It broke my heart. My children adore their grandma. They think the world of her. I have never noticed any favoritism in her behavior either, as she always doted on them. So I don't know where this is coming from. She then explained that the house was my father's hard-earned money, and she couldn't really give that money to people he didn't approve of. She told me he would have wanted this money to go to my sister and her biological children, not to children who didn't even look like him. I don't understand how she could pretend to love my children for a decade. I was fooled by it. Everyone was fooled by it. I can't even process it. We have stopped funding her retirement, and now she will have to sell the house. I talked to my sister, and she cried when I told her what my mother had told me. She said she would handle buying our mother a new home. I haven't visited her in a month, and I'm not planning to visit for a long time. I'm so sorry that your mother has turned into this person that you no longer recognize. But your children are so incredibly lucky to have a parent that puts them above this kind of crap. OP, has your mom had a thorough wellness check lately? If this behavior/attitude seems out of the blue, it could potentially be an early sign of dementia. I'm wondering the same thing. This seems like such a shock to OP, and if her behavior has changed so much, a checkup might be worthwhile. Thank you for the kind comments. Yes, my wife did say it could be dementia. My sister is planning on getting her a wellness check soon. I'm trying not to think about it. If a parent called my adopted kids not their real grandkids, they'd never see another penny from me. I'm the only mixed kid in my family, and my gram would have never said anything about it. When my grams died, she started parceling out jewelry to all the kids and grandkids. I was very aware I might not get something since I was a step-grandkid, but she gifted me with the most beautiful set of rings. I will always love her for that. To say your grandkids aren't yours because they're adopted or step is insane to me. My fiancé has 4 grown boys. His youngest is having a baby soon. I'm beyond excited. Will I be a grandma at 36? Yes. Is that insane? Yes. Or he and his partner asking me what I want to be called? Yes. I would never. Yes, I didn't raise his kids, but I'm here now and they call me Mama Lo. They know I'll be their kid's extra grandma. Your mom sucks. Period. Her selling the house is for the best. I thought maybe it wasn't worth much, but since reading through your comments, I saw it's worth between 1 and 1.5 million. She could definitely buy a smaller place and live off the proceeds of the sale. Most seniors tend to downsize for just that reason. You shouldn't have to subsidize her retirement when she is capable of doing it herself. You also shouldn't be paying to fix a house you have no equity in. Sorry you had to find out such a shocking revelation by your mom. Just an aside, if what she said about your children is so out of character, maybe her faculties are declining. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my parents move in and reminding them that they backed the wrong horse? My 37 male family comes from and is a long line of doctors. Being a doctor is the only acceptable profession in their eyes, and anything aside from that is met with literal abandonment. Which is what happened to me when I turned 17 and told my family I was not going to be a doctor, but to build an acting career/social media career. YouTube wasn't huge then, and supplement my income with small business endeavors. When I told my family this, they kicked me out, and we subsequently lost contact for 17 years. During this time, they moved to the UK and my sister became a doctor, and my older brother got into a very competitive stream for surgery. Neurosurgery specializing in spinal tumor diagnosis and removal, which she has now finished. We reconnected when COVID hit and they told me they were moving back to Sydney for lifestyle reasons, and because my brother has found a $750,000 a year job. During the last 2 years, they never asked me how my acting career/social media stuff went. I basically assumed I was just slumming in Sydney. To their credit, they were correct in that I didn't make it big in acting, or make it at all. I did, however, make it big as an investment banker, and recently made partner at the bank I work. This came to head on Friday when I met them for house shopping. I walked to meet them, and when they asked about my car, I just said I preferred to walk, and then they realized the areas they wanted to live, despite being highly paid medical professionals, simply wasn't going to be happening, as the houses cost north of $20 million. When we decided to call it a day and regroup, they suggested going to my place before going out to dinner. When we arrived at my house, they thought I was renting a room and inquired how much rent was. I informed them that I wasn't renting and that this was my house. They lost their minds, started accusing me of lying to them for years, and only meeting up to rub their face in my probably illegal gained wealth, and then capped it off by informing me that they'll be living with me now, instead of with my oldest brother, since they can't be seen living in a worse house than their son. I laughed at them and reminded them that they bet on my brother and sister, not me, and that they have a better chance of living with my neighbors than me. At that point, they threatened to cut me out of their will, to which I reminded them of the fact that they can't even afford to buy in my area, so their willed assets don't really matter to me. Now they aren't talking to me, and my brother and sister are saying I should have been proactive in letting them know of my success. I have a public LinkedIn profile, so they literally never Googled me. Edit. A lot of people are critical that my family just kicked me out or that it's unlikely a parent would do this. Obviously, I wasn't a great child in their eyes in general, and this was the final straw, so to speak. Also, Desi parents are a different level of parents. From washing your father's feet, to not speaking unless spoken to, not allowed to talk to opposite sex, and viewing the head of the house as an almost god figure. It's a bit different. Desi parents are also incredibly strict. Not like your room needs to be clean strict, but like clean the entire house, wash the cars, wash iron everyone's clothes, or you are getting beaten with a broom. Not a home. Let them know you're successful? Why? So they talk to you again simply to see what they can get out of you? Thanks, but no thanks. You handled this just right. Very much a cultural thing. Good for you. What they should have said was how proud they are of your success, despite not having any family support. Culturally, is it normal to turn your back on your children? I wish you continued success, and I would probably invest in some upgraded security measures. It is not unusual, but normally reserved for fairly significant breaches within the family, like marrying down a caste, coming out as gay, or religious transgressions. Depends on the family, but I'm not the only Indian in my social circle who has been effectively disowned. Far more common for women than men. Not stay home. Sorry that they are not interested in you as a person, but only as a status symbol. Very sad. Congratulations on your great career, though. Not even me. They did suggest that I move out and let my brother, his children, and them live in my house. It was amusing, to say the least. Wow. Let me guess. You don't have kids, so obviously your golden child brother deserves the home you worked hard for. No, I don't have kids. But I do have a long-time partner who they haven't met either, so that'll be a blow-up next without a doubt. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to brush the toilet for my pregnant sister-in-law after my husband called it my work? My female 25, sister-in-law female 23, and brother-in-law male 30 moved in with us, and she's 4 months pregnant. And every time before she uses the bathroom, she'd ask me to go in and clean the toilet for her because she's always nauseous, and any unwanted sight like pee stains on the toilet could trigger her upset stomach. I agreed because I'm too nice to tell a struggling pregnant woman to buzz off with her unreasonable requests. This has been going on for months now. I get told to grin and bear and smile and be warm and welcoming. And I am. I am. I swear I am. But it all came to a head yesterday. My brother-in-law was out and came back to quickly use the toilet. My sister-in-law pulled me out the kitchen and begged me to go clean the toilet because her husband just used it and most likely left pee stains all over the seats since he can't aim right. I gave her a he sure knows how to aim in other areas there look, as she told me she needed to pee right then, and I said fine and went to clean the toilet. My husband, male 32, showed up asking what I was doing while cleaning the toilet, feeling disgusted. I stopped and vented to him about how his sister is basically milking her pregnancy, and I asked when exactly is she and her husband going to get their own place. And he nonchalantly responded with, I don't know, can't really tell, and it'd be rude to ask, so I guess we'll just have to wait it out. Now get back to work. I stared, and he asked, what? Then I threw the brush and yelled at him that cleaning the fricking toilet isn't my job, and he was overstepping by implying that it was. He shushed me saying his sister can hear me, but I said I don't give a crap anymore, and that if he felt so strongly about this, then he should be cleaning the toilet every time she needs to use it. Or I don't know, get her husband to do it maybe? He said that I knew damn well he wants to help, but his germophobia is making him feel helpless. He begged me to finish cleaning, but I stormed off to my room and locked myself inside. Next thing I hear, his sister complaining about not being able to use the toilet since I wasn't done cleaning. Then she was forced to use it anyway and ended up throwing up later. My husband then had an argument with me saying, see? She got sick and threw up because you refused to finish cleaning the toilet. And he said it was just a toilet, but I overreacted. And reminded me his sister is struggling and told me to put myself in her shoes and ask if that is how I wanted to be treated. I said I was fed up, and that I didn't have to do any of this if it wasn't for the goodness of my heart, and that cleaning the toilet for his pregnant sister wasn't/isn't and will no longer be my job, period. He got mad saying I was putting him between a rock and hard place, and again said I'm too sensitive, and if I really am a person with a good heart, then I'll do my best to help his pregnant sister. But I refused. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Her husband can't clean up his own piss. Exactly. The pregnant woman's husband can clean up the toilet right after he uses it. As a matter of fact, if it's such a problem, then why don't they all clean it right after they use it? This is ridiculous, and I would be fed up as well. Not stay home. Jesus Christ, Opie. Move out. What on earth did you do in a past life to land in this purgatory house of 3 grown adults, none of whom can A, pee inside of a toilet, B. Use a toilet that has been peed on. Or C. Clean the heck up after themselves like the grown adults that they are. Not stay whole, but damn. Go stay with a friend or family member until your house is back down to only one grown adult who can't clean up after himself. Or maybe better yet, not even him. Get your own place with sparkly clean toilets. I love where the husband asks how she would like to be treated in sister-in-law's shoes. I'm sorry. Husband is such a germaphobe he can't clean the toilet at all? Ever? So if Opie gets pregnant, she will still be cleaning everything because germs make her husband feel helpless. So Opie should be very aware. No one in this family will ever help her with anything. Ever. Not stay home. You are being played. By all of them. You need to care if the toilet is clean because all three other adults can't be bothered to just leave it very clean. Normal people would agree on that every person cleans after using. Every person. Man who can't aim, germaphobes, pregnant women. This is insane. And I'm so worried about what else you accept as normal. If you've been the maid for months now. Yeah, this is nuts. 1. If brother-in-law can't aim, is he a bratty teenager? He can sit and he can clean. He shouldn't be leaving the toilet dirty like that. 2. Most pregnant women can and do use and clean toilets. Sister-in-law's princess behavior is so entitled it hurts. 3. Opie's husband is an a-hole. Cleaning the toilet can't simultaneously be no big deal, but too big a deal for him to do it. He can talk out of his bottom about how Opie would like to be treated all he likes, but that's a bit of a stupid question for him to ask. If Opie actually stops to think about how she'd like to be treated, she very well may not hang around long enough to be in a position where she's pregnant or vulnerable.